My name's Karen Scott and I'm a Principal Research Scientist at the Rowett Institute of Nutrition and Health, which is part of the University of Aberdeen in Scotland. People have been consuming cereal grains as part of their diet for many years, and we now have them as both whole grains, refined flours, and also extracted components like bran and specific fibres that come out of them. They're very important for human health for many reasons actually. Whole grains in particular have been shown, or increased consumption of whole grains has been shown to both lower blood pressure and lower cholesterol levels. So both of these can help protect people against the development of cardiovascular disease, so that means both heart attacks and strokes. And the consumption of the whole grains and the fibre that you then take in with the whole grains also helps people against constipation, and also that then helps protect against colorectal cancer development. So there are actually many reasons why we should consume whole grains rather than refined flours really. Most of the cereal products that we eat are actually wheat products, but if we were able to increase our consumption of oats and barley compared to wheat, we would have the added benefit of intaking this soluble fibre called beta-glucan. And beta-glucan fibre has been shown to sort of act as a sponge in your body by mopping up cholesterol. And this then obviously reduces the amount of cholesterol that's circulating in the blood, so then can again have a positive benefit in protecting against cardiovascular disease. In fact, there have been enough studies done on this that there's actually a registered health claim associated with beta-glucan, which means that anybody who consumes that the consumption of 3 grams per day of beta-glucan can protect you against the development of cardiovascular disease due to the cholesterol lowering effect. Of course, 3 grams of beta-glucan actually means eating a large bowl of porridge, because there's about 3% of beta-glucan in most oat or barley products. So plant breeders are working very hard to try and increase the amount of beta-glucan in the crops by breeding back into older varieties sometimes, which may have had more beta-glucan in them. Because what has happened over the years, particularly with barley actually, is that the beta-glucan content has been reduced. Because beta-glucan is a sticky soluble fibre, which is why it's good for us, it was actually bad for the brewing and distilling industry, so they tried actively to reduce the amount of beta-glucan in the barley crops. So we're now going back and trying to get that back up again. Oats are even better than barley in many ways, because oats don't contain the allergen gluten. So people who have celiac disease have a very bad reaction to gluten, and they have, their gut is very sensitive to this. So if they consume anything that contains gluten, then they get very sick. And barley and wheat both contain quite high amounts of gluten, but oats don't contain gluten at all. So anyone who has celiac disease can actually eat oat-based products as long as they're prepared using gluten-free oats. Because one of the problems with this is that farmers often grow oats in the fields right next to where they grow barley or wheat, and any contamination of the oat crop can actually cause enough of the allergen to be present that people can still get sick. So you do have to look for gluten-free oats, but then that would be perfect. What we're currently working on is, as part of some Scottish Government funding, is to try and really increase human consumption of oat and barley products. And as part of this project, we've been comparing different oat and barley cultivars grown in different regions around the UK to see what effects that has on the nutritional composition. And some of the cultivars that we've included in this have been really old cultivars. So I mentioned that one of the oat cultivars, for example, contains a higher beta-glucan content than the more modern varieties. One of the barley cultivars that we're using is a Bere barley, and this is really only grown in Orkney and Shetland and the Western Isles now, partly because it actually has quite a low yield, so it's quite difficult to encourage farmers to grow it. But it does have very different nutritional aspects compared to the sort of more standard barley crops. So there is a role for that in our diet, I think. And in fact, what we've done is we've incorporated some of our oat and barley flours into normal bakery products. And the shortbread that we made with the Bere barley flour was actually, in a blind tasting test, people actually thought it was nicer than the normal shortbread, just because it had a different taste, because the barley has a sort of nutty, treacly flavour that it imparts on the shortbread.